Hello friends, in this video we will record for the advanced rules of inference. Till now whatever we have done, those rules and that type of questions we have already done up till the +2 syllabus, and the rules that we will discuss today, that is modus tollens, tollens and syllogism, those are discussed only in engineering and masters. So let us begin with the topics. So this is a snapshot that I have taken from a book that I follow, that is KLP Mishra for Theory of Computation, and by hand I have written some examples so that it will be clear that what each of the rules is meaning. So the first rule is the rule of addition. What the rule of addition says is that if a preposition is true, if you add another preposition into it, then that will also become true because the original preposition was true. So if P is true, it implies P or Q will also be true, and you can add anything, P or R, P or S, so that preposition will become true. But it does not imply that P or Q is true means Q is also true. That is not implied by this particular rule, but P or Q together is true. This is the rule of addition that we have. Then we have the rule of conjunction. The rule of conjunction says that is P is true separately, Q is true separately, then P and Q will also be true only. Then we have the rule of simplification. The rule of simplification says that if P and Q is true, that is given to you, in that case P is true can be inferred from it, and Q is also true, that can also be inferred from it, because if P and Q is true, then P and Q have to be true separately. Then is the rule of modus ponens. In modus ponens, what we have is if P is true separately, we are given this information, and P implies Q is also true, that implies P and P implies Q both are true, it implies that Q is also true. What it means is if Marcus is a poet, then he is poor. This is true, and you are given Marcus is a poet. In that case, Marcus is poor is true. We can derive this information from the previous two sentences. Then we have modus tollens. Modus tollens is reverse of modus ponens. What it says is if negation of Q is given to you and P implies Q is true, in that case Q is false because P was originally false, and therefore negation of P can be derived from it. This is the rule of modus tollens. So if we say that Marcus is not poor, that means Marcus is not a poet. So this is what we can infer from the sentences. Then there are more rules. Let us look at them also. There is a rule of disjunctive syllogism. What does disjunctive syllogism say? If negation of P is true and P or Q is true, this information is given to you, then you can infer that Q is true. Why we can infer this? Because there is a rule of OR in between. If negation of P is true, in that case Q has to be true, only then this sentence can be true, and therefore you can derive this information that Q is true. So if we have, if I will make a tea or I will read a book is given to you, and then I will not make tea is given, then I will read a book is true. Then we have hypothetical syllogism. Hypothetical syllogism says if P implies Q is true and Q implies R is true, then we can infer that P implies R is also true. Then we have constructive dilemma. Constructive dilemma says that if P implies Q is true and R implies S is true and P or R is true, that means either P is true or R is true, in that case either Q will be true or S will be true. So P implies Q and R implies S, both are true. In that case, if P is true or R is true, in that case either Q is true or S is true. And you can understand it from this example. If it rains, then I will take a leave. So if it rains is P and I will take leave is Q. There is another sentence is if it is hot outside, I will go for a shower. So this is R implies S. Now you are given either it rains or it is hot outside. So we have P or R, either it is raining or it is hot. So P or R. Therefore, either I will take leave or I will go to the shower. So Q or S. Then we have the destructive dilemma. Destructive dilemma says if P implies Q is true and R implies S is true, that means P implies Q and R implies S is true. In that case, if we are given that negation of Q or negation of S, that is the second part, negation of Q or negation of S is true, this clearly implies that negation of P is true or negation of R is true. So these are the rules that we have. In the next video, I will be recording using all these rules in our simplification process. Thank you very much for watching the video. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel and share with your friends. Thank you very much.